Oh, you're still muted, Paul. Like, here we go. Try that now. There we go.
What is up, team? Welcome back to the Huddle, the number one podcast in flooring. We're here every week to help you guys gain forward progress in your career. Simply put, we're here to help you guys win. For all our new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up, fellas?
What's going
What's going
on?
on, brother?
Oh, just on location. Just on location at a job site, a few hours away from the office, and hooked into my truck's Wi Fi. So let's see how that works.
I
It's
mean,
working pretty good so far.
yeah, better than when I try on my hotspot.
Nice.
I forgot that the vehicles can have hotspots, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think most this is a 25 or maybe it's 26. Um, but yeah, I just subscribed to it the other day because I could never my hotspot wasn't working so well, so I tried this one. It ended up working. All right. Anyway, enough of that. Today's sponsors, Pro Installer Magazine. If you guys want to stay up to date on installation news, make sure you go check out Pro Installer Magazine. They're a good supporter of the Huddle, and we are a supporter of them. So go check them out. Subscribe to their like you can get their magazine emailed to you every time it comes out. There's no charge to that, I believe. So go check it out and support those guys over there. They got a lot of great articles. I think all three of us have written articles in there before in the past. Going to start up writing a few more here in the near future. So go check them out and go check out TradeTap website and see our suite of offerings over there. The full software suite explainer, kind of give you an idea of what's going on over there and explain the VTI in a way that you know maybe I'm not always so good at. Today's topic: where will the flooring trade be in 10 years? So I hope we get a lot of interaction today. The because I can't tell you. I don't know if the guys could tell you. We can hypothesize a little bit,
That's about
but
it.
it would be wonderful to know what you guys think. What do you think it's where the flooring trade's going to be in 10 years? I don't
Well,
even know if
here,
I can
I mean,
look out 10 years from now, but maybe five and give about the best hypothesis I
I
can.
guess I guess it all depends on what you're following, right? Like my mood today tells me who cares. My mood tomorrow might be like it looks promising, you know what I mean? Um, but the it's hard to say with how quickly technology is kind of taking over taking over the detail part and not the install, right? Like we still need our hands for the installation, but everybody is swaying more towards the technology and trying to use that, right? But it's a progression, and I'm saying that because we're not always installing anymore, right? But we are definitely doing our best to adopt a lot of the tools that are out there for us now, as far as AI. And Daniel laid something on my desk yesterday that I got to learn how to use for measuring. So it's just where is it for me? Technology, probably. Where is it for the industry? That is hard to say because not a lot of people are wanting to learn what we do.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
a little biased. I believe that um, well, this is supported by my a couple of speeches I've given on a similar topic, but it was more on the AI front. I think that we're going to have to figure labor out, and we've gotten pretty good at relationships. Um, but all this in between part between an opportunity and the bid or an opportunity and a quote is just getting easier and easier, and
yeah,
technology handling more and more of that. From AI takeoffs are getting really good. AI out in the field doing an AI walkthrough with your phone, and it giving you a quote that like you could. I did one at my office, and this was through Live Switch, uh, and it was within a couple. It was within a couple $100, and all I did is walk into my office with the Live Switch app, and just tell it. I'm just talking to my phone, saying, "Okay, we're gonna take this carpet out, this vinyl base out. We're gonna put new LVT and new Millworks vinyl base to match what's up now." And that's it. And I made sure to pan the whole room, and it gave me a quote for moving. It gave me the whole details for
Wow.
all the costs of moving, all the furniture. Gave me a price to demo, price for like almost everything. And of course, I fed it a little bit of information on our standard pricing, but I didn't I didn't do much, and it was within a couple $100 of what I would have actually quoted it, and it was on the high side by a couple hundred. So you can see the day in the near future where like salespeople are just walking with their phones and saying stuff, and the AI emails the quote to the customer, and that whole middle part is gone. And so I kind of think that middle piece of bidding will be, if you're not doing the efficient bidding, like an efficiency of bidding, then you are going to be left behind.
Hmm.
The difference maker is going to be your labor and the strength of your installers, the strength of their professionalism, and your face to face with the customer. So relationships and installation, I think, are going to be the only thing that matter in the near future. That's my.
That sounds pretty legit, actually. And the way you said that, it almost sounds like there's going to be many more opportunities than there is now because of the ease of use. And then how do we how do we complete them opportunities if we don't have the skill set? And that's where the labor part comes in, at to work on
Well, and
relationships and work.
you got to bring in these younger dudes. Trade Tap has, with our training hub, uh, several college programs. We got a really awesome opportunity with the large career center for the trades that's going to come online and feed, you know, hundreds and hundreds of new trained, lightly trained, but we'll call them rookies because that's how the VTI will list them. Brand new people as rookies, but all these brand new rookies coming into the pipeline for people to hire, they're going to be the ones that know how to use this technology almost natively, you know? So you're going to want to start hiring some of these younger people as they come into the fold. But, I mean, it's hard for me to. I'm just looking at when I started in flooring, doing takeoffs and stuff like that in '99 is when I started the company, and we were doing paper takeoffs, with a scale ruler. I mean, it took hours on hours, and then a calculator or Excel spreadsheet to add up all the
Yeah,
measurements, and then you call for price. Like, it would take, what takes minutes now would take hours, if not days, in the past.
dude, I remember
Now,
that.
now you go from on-screen takeoff, which was a huge leap in in our efficiencies, to
No
AI
colored
hand.
pencils, you mean? No more
Yeah,
colored pencils?
no more colored pencils, highlighters. I had every color highlighter you could get your hands on, dude. You know,
I
and
still got them.
highlighting
Probably
drawings,
dried
like,
out.
you know, coloring in drawings so you can give them to your crews, and coloring in multiple sets. Because back then our plotter would scan the drawing and print it out, but it only printed in black and white.
Yeah.
So you might as well just print out a bunch of blanks and color in a bunch of, I mean, I was like a kindergartner coloring a bunch of drawings up for the cruise. Now you just, it comes out of your program, whatever you use. We use Measure Square. Um, and it's already colored, and you connect it to a work order on Trade Tap, and you just boom. I mean, they
Right.
have it. They know exactly what they're installing where. So that whole process has already went from, days for a job to, if, and that's being, aggressive, but to just hours maybe. And then that's going to change to minutes. And it's already happening. I mean, you guys use Measure Square. Do you guys use the AI takeoff? So do we. Not on every
Yep.
job.
It
Neither.
doesn't work on every job, right? It depends on
No,
how clean the drawings are and stuff like that. But when it
It's
works
magic.
pretty good.
Yeah, it
it
works
still
pretty
saves
doggone
time.
good.
Yeah, 100%.
So something that would take you a few hours to draw and drop product into, it can do in, minutes. And
Right.
so that whole thing is getting, technology's kind of overtaking that. So what's
And
going to be
that's
left to what we do?
right. And that's where Romero chimes in right here too. He's like, all this stuff is already happening, right? He uses AIs for transcriptions on site visits and then has some agents process the information to connect it with his project. And I mean, I'm working on one
Kudos to
right
you,
now.
Romero.
Right. And
Shout
I mean,
out for
I'm working on one right now where they're like, it's really budget sensitive. So you go over all the products, and then you're contacting your reps, and you're like, what can we do here? And then I just drop everything in there and tell AI to compile whatever I want it to, like, give me give me the best stuff for the best price point. I'm not trying to go super duper cheap and have the installers be all super angry and stuff, right? But it's like, where can we put this, and what's the best bet here? And it in Excel, it's just boom, different worksheets on the bottom for every material, and then the pricing and how it compares, how much it's going to save. It's like you said, something that would take hours before. It's just accumulating all the information, giving it to, which is essentially an employee that you would pay to do something, right? And it's like, here, do this for me while I keep on working.
Yeah. And a lot of the platforms are, they've introduced basically like Copilot. Even AI, OpenAI with ChatGPT has
Codex.
a
Yep.
work mode. You can connect your
Yep.
emails to it and all this other stuff. Like there's a lot you can do. Um, but for our discussion here, because we've had plenty of technology, you know, um, podcasts. This one is like, what is that going to do to our business? What is this going to do to installers? And everything that I have kind of consumed from the AI world is, a lot of the big companies, your Amazons and your Boeings and your big manufacturers are talking about a 5 to 10 year plan of full 100% automation in their factories, fully AI driven and robot performed. So that's where all the money's going. The trades to build a robot to come do our stuff, like the payback isn't there for the companies to build that, right? They're building these big massive, like I seen a kind of a, it's not a meme, but it's like a rendition of what a airplane, because here in Wichita we are known as the air capital because we build so much of the airplanes, particularly the Boeing airplanes, but also some Airbus stuff. Airbus engineering is here. All the subcontractors that build the wings and the windows and the latches and the seats and the carpeting happen here in Wichita. So we're known as Air Capital. And, you know, if you've ever been in one of these manufacturing plants, they did this years ago with painting. They take it into a paint booth and it's it's all, you know, super clean, and they paint the fuselage by robots do that. Now, they're talking about like all the rivets, all that, the whole thing being done by taking the raw materials or the raw parts off of the production line that was stamped and made by robots to this room, and then it's like it rivets everything, it does the whole thing. So my point is that that's where all the money's going, and the trades are pretty safe, it appears, for 15 years before they get to, you know, to us. But I've seen some pretty funny AI, you know, pretty
Oh
funny
yeah.
with trying to set tile and different things, and yeah, that's just fine for a big open room. And if you had that scenario, spreading thin set and stuff, it's kind of funny. One was like skim coating the floor with a squeegee on the bottom of the deal. I mean, there's still it's got a ways to go before it ever really replaces the trades. That's my thought. So if that's true, then what is going to matter is how well we install, because all that, like I said, all the bidding and all that stuff and pricing is going to get commoditized as well, meaning it's going to be hard for you to beat somebody else's pricing. So how are you going to win outside of pricing?
That is the big question right there. Yeah. And
Well,
you
I'm
know,
getting,
so
go
go ahead.
ahead. No, you go. I've been
I was gonna
talking.
say, so I don't know where I heard it last week, but somebody said that in the trade, this is trade specific, right? Like I don't just need someone for the work to who knows how to do it. They also need to understand technology and how to use it. Otherwise, great hand skills don't mean nothing if they don't know how to use the technology that the company is adopting. And yes and no, but that just the whole lookout for 10 years is, you know, as flooring installers, well, we're gonna have to be scientists, right? We're gonna have to know everything about the concrete and everything up, right? Now we're gonna have to learn how to use all of the technology that's at our disposal. There is not one question that we can't find an answer to, um, essentially online or using artificial intelligence. Um,
Well, yeah,
Dave,
they
like you
say
just
information is being commoditized. And
right,
one of the deals we're doing for a client is we're building a knowledge base for them that will um, tie into all of their manufacturers, every manufacturer that's in their showroom, and it'll be based off of their product knowledge or product installation guidelines and their product data and their MSDS sheets, and it's all fed to the single bot that will allow this customer to be able to ask any question about any material in it that it sells and get a truth-based answer. Not the problem with AI right now from an information standpoint is it still wants to please humans. So if you ask it a question, it'll, a lot of times, if you haven't had it lie to you or kind of stretch the truth for you, just trying to make you happy, you haven't used it enough, because it'll go out and say some stuff and you're like, wait a second, that doesn't seem right, and you get in the product data and it's not right. It's because it's hallucinating. It's
yeah.
giving you an answer because it can't find an answer. But people are, that's getting fixed too, you know. And you know, narrow AI agents that are restricted and have guardrails on where it gets its information from is what companies are kind of wanting these days. I mean, imagine if any product line that you sell, you could just literally say, what's trial size for this? What's a preferred uh, what's the preferred adhesive? Here's my moisture readings. Which adhesive should I use with this LVT? And it's all based on their product data, all based on the manufacturer's recommendations and all that. Like that's what's coming too. It's just
I know, but
a
the hard thing is getting it set up for yourself where you can put
Yeah.
multiple different manufacturers in there and then start asking it questions like what's better in this scenario and what can I use for this and
well,
like
having a truth base is the key, and not allowing it to go to the internet to get answers. Um,
because then it'll go on Facebook and read everyone's comments and then who knows what it's going to come up with.
well, that's just a thing. Right now, it will regurgitate. It can still regurgitate what it reads, almost as truth. Maybe not quite as truth, but almost as truth. And it's just look. A lot of dumb people have posted a lot of dumb things on the internet,
Social media. Yeah. Just
Everywhere.
and otherwise. So it's about as smart as the average, comment that you see on Facebook or one of the social sites. So my point to all that is just that information they say is being commoditized. It'll eventually, you, being an expert, like you kind of uh, said there, Jose, about you got to be an expert in this, an expert that might go away. I mean, think about it. You may not have to know all that stuff anymore because
if it's
information
there,
is monetized. You
right? And if it's there, I guess the knowing it and having the literature and the information readily available to you doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to execute well either. And that's where the experience and the hands-on
That's where
of
hand
what we
skills
do,
and
yeah,
relationships
that,
and being able to have a good conversation with your customer and making them feel good
yeah,
about having some proof that you're as good as you are is going to be big in the future. I'm betting a lot on it. Everyone knows about Trade Tap and the VTI. I'm betting my whole my whole business on the fact that people want to know the level of quality that you're capable of. They want to know what your skill and ability is because as um, information is commoditized, and so is pricing. Meaning, people almost everybody's able to give pricing immediately and quickly, and you know now you go from having two competitors to five, but how does the customer know you're any different or know you're any better? And I think that's going to be a big piece of it too, frankly. But
that's going to be a huge piece of it, and that's where understanding the technology and then putting that accompanying that with a good hand skill, and then obviously trade tap coming along and creating the VTI is going to in 10 years, dude. That's going to put people above everyone else if they invest into themselves now and see what the future on what the trades has in store, not just us,
mm,
but the trades period.
yeah,
And as you know, in 10 years, and where's inflation going to be? Where's dollar and cents going to be? People are not going to want to just hire whomever is the cheapest. They're not going to be. I don't think they're going to look at that. Some don't look at that. They look at who is most qualified, who has presented themselves the best, and who has the best track record that is available to me. And that's in 10 years. That's going to be huge.
well, even sooner, even 5 years from now, I think it's a big deal. But what you said kind of put it, you know, made me think. One of the reasons price is even an issue today is because void of pricing, they because or void of proof of skill, they don't have anything else. Customers don't have anything else to go off of. So why wouldn't they choose the cheapest? Like, you know, you get a line of cars up, you're going to pick the one that you like the most, relationship, and the cheapest. that you like the most. But that's because you don't if you don't know what any of those cars performance are, you're only going to judge off of the the aesthetics of it. Do you really like it? And the price.
Yeah, we have
Now,
Amazon or Temu. Which one?
yeah,
Which one?
exactly.
Which brings me to another thing too. Is we had a client call the office. I just got back and I picked up the phone, and one of Daniel's clients actually, um, and he was like, "Yeah, there's a discrepancy on your quote." I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Yeah, we have to fight back on your quote." I said, "Well, it's a quote. I don't understand." He was like, "Well, we just really don't like what's on there." I said, "Well, you don't have to hire me." He's like, "Well, can you revise it?" I'm like, look, I don't know what you're talking about. So give me a minute. Let me open up the computer because right now it sounds like you're telling me to lower our price so that way you can hire us." And he was like, "No, no, 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 it's not like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm saying that wrong." He's like, "We've worked with you guys in the past. We've been working with Daniel, but the clients is complaining. There's something on the quote that isn't accounted for in their eyes." And I was like, "Oh, well, why didn't you just say it like that? Like you're
Yeah,
telling me to lower my price." And
we can fix that.
yeah, so I opened up the computer and hey, you know what? CRM came in handy. Everything was there. All the pictures were right there. I went right to Daniel's project, pulled up the first picture I pulled up, and I was like, "Dude, here's your answer." Right? And he was just like, "I see it in the pictures now. I have the
And
pictures. I'm so sorry." And then he
it's
started
just
laughing. He was just like, "You were really just gonna tell me
Well,
to go
that's a
somewhere
great
else?"
story to show how technology dealt with that,
yeah,
though. I
just
mean, you
just
got
keeping
him.
with stuff in order, man. It's and letting
But
people
we're
know because I it's hard when you talk to people that don't know about the industry, why you got to do things, and then they don't understand, and then they just pass it off, and then you got to explain the same thing over and over again, and it's like, man,
so that's where I was going with that too. And that's technology was very involved, but the fact that he just didn't know and it wasn't explained to him and it wasn't shown to him, right? And he was just like, "I am
Well, I
so
think
glad that we called you guys because you explained that way better. I understand now. You're using this material to repair what we can't see, so that way you can install and fix what we can." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, there's a system." And he's like, "I get it, I get it." And
well,
he was
that's
like,
where the
he went,
relationship comes in, right?
"Well, that's not Daniel's relationship, right?" But I think Daniel was Daniel was fed
I
up with
was
them because they
over it,
kept
man.
calling and asking the same questions. And I think it took me saying, "Well, don't hire us, bro." Like, hey, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, no, not where I was trying to say."
it's
Like,
it's one of those property management companies, and they give you a
yeah,
fee to go out and look at it, and then you quote it. And yesterday, finally, I was like, I'm not spending any more time on this. You guys either find some, I'm going to bill out this $100 and call it a wash, and y'all can find someone else. I don't want to deal with it anymore because I've explained myself to too many people in emails, over the phone, and that's just that. This is why I can't deal with residential.
You and me, bro, both, brother.
hey, you know what? It
So
just
what?
took a couple minutes, but it was Daniel's pictures and the information he had on Measure Square and then on the CRM. Like it told a story, and I was able to pick it up. And that's the experience, right? That was experience. That wasn't a piece of paper telling me what to do. That was my installation experience that put those together really quick to hopefully save a potential project and create a better relationship with the client. That's end of the story on that one.
Well, kind of got down a rabbit hole for a second,
Yeah.
but it's exactly still what we're talking about. It's how is all this going to play out? Um, for whatever reason, I can't see comments on my side, but if you guys in the
Well, we
audience
got
could tell us, like, what is the what is the um 10 year, it's hard to say 10 years. What is a 5 year? What's it look like in 5 years? You know, a good
I
exercise. Let's think back 5 years.
That's what I was gonna say. Look back on what was going on a few years ago, right? Even and then just like Romero says right here, certifications are a great way, and I think that people, installers in particular, are going to have to get more technical with everything because we're eliminating a lot of that in between, right? And there's
Well, it's the only way a company is going to stand out is what I think is by the quality of their labor. So, like Romero said, and like you were saying, certifications and training that we've been harping on for going on 5 years, 4 years, whatever it's been, almost five, going on 5 years anyway. We've been harping about this, and it's going to be overnight. People are going to start choosing the most verifiable quality person they can get their hands on, whether that's through certifications, whether that's through your VTI, whether that's through a manufacturer vouching for you, or you being highly recommended from another customer that they respect that customer's like opinion about. That is the stuff that's going to get you hired. The price is going to be that's the only way you're going to be able to get a higher price. That was my pet peeve the entire time I installed was getting beat by somebody who had no qualifications whatsoever, and it was
Dude,
price that bothered me more than anything. It's a little different as a on the company side, because then you're getting into like, can you do that size of job and that kind of stuff. Like, they start to consider your finances and all that. Can you bond it? Are you fully insured? All of that stuff. But
you know, man, you just brought something up that I didn't even connect the dots till right now. You go ahead with that comment, Daniel, first.
so Kenneth says, how about 15 years of poor training? Things are changing, and they do. They have to change because, like I said, everything is just getting more and more technical in the certifications I've been in when they're like, oh, you guys don't need to know this information. And then I'm like, hold up. We're the last line of defense here, man. We're technically the ones that are supposed to know everything.
Yeah. So, um, his comment, along with what you were just saying, Paul, is my son went to work with me today. I went and did a demo as a favor for one of the companies that we work for, labor only. They called me last night, scrambling, supposed to have a job done. And they were ripping this rubber flooring up 2 inches at a time with a red shaker box. And so I loaded up the trailer, got my son from weight training this morning, and we went to the project. And I seen a company that we've worked with pull out of a driveway. Now this is very very high end homes, right? Like we're in the tens of millions of dollars in these homes right now. And I seen this company pull out a driveway, and he was like, "Hey, I've seen that before." And I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Do you guys work for them?" I said, "Absolutely not." I said, "And you know what? It hurts my feelings that they're pulling out of a house right now that's like that because of the work that we've come behind and fixed and the work they continue to do." And he was like, "Well," and this is my son, 13 years old. "Well, how come you're not getting the work that they're getting?" I was like, "Well, I don't have the team and the time to go make the connections, to go tell people how good I am. That's something I don't know how to do. So that's why I'm not getting all of that work." And and he was just like, "Well, how can they stay in business if they do bad work?" I was like, "Because not every job is a loss, son. Not every job. And if you make just enough to stay afloat and you stay around long enough, some things people still hire you. You become a familiar name, a familiar face, and then marketing and social." And he was like,
Marketing.
"Oh." He was like, "Oh, like the supermarket?" I'm like, "No, dude,
yeah,
like
I mean,
marketing, like what you do on your phone. You see all these videos and all these pictures. You're like, Dad, look at this
Like,
helicopter, look at this radio
right.
control
I
thing,
want
look
to
at
I want
this."
to buy this.
All these things that you don't need, but you saw like three cool ads in a row telling you how awesome it was and seeing these kids smile, right? So now you do that to adults with furnishings and all that. That's how you do it.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that. That's what I think is going to go away. I just think that people are going to I mean, you still got to get in front of the customer. So there's still an element of marketing yourself and all of that. I think you have to be seen. So be get good at getting attention and get good at executing on the relationship, the opportunity, and get good at your labor. And the labor side, I mean, we just harp on it every week, so it feels like a broken record. But I just think that's the
Like
end of the
like
day.
I said, we're taking all these people that used to be in positions. Just look at insurance. There's an insurance company over here, huge. They cut 40% of their workforce because of AI. Those people have to go find something else to do, right? And then, like you said, if you're not proven who you are, how are you going to get jobs? And then everything just always is now. It was before, it was everyone's got to go to college, and now everyone's like, man, we need to get more trade schools up and running. We need to teach people how to build again.
I can tell you there's a big desire for our training hub, which is a piece of our software, and we are placing that like it is. It is a big piece because it's kind of like a transcript for the skilled trades. It follows into your VTI and follows you. You make a good point, Daniel, that the the all these people are going to need something to do. Want they got to go somewhere. If the skilled trades are still around, our shortage is no longer going to be a shortage. It's going to be truly what you've said so many times on this podcast.
Yeah.
there there will be a shortage of skilled quality guys, but there will cease to be a shortage of someone that can come to your house and do your carpet or your LVT or something. It's going to be the guy that worked at some manufacturing plant that installed the click LVT in his house. And so, when he gets laid off or let go from Amazon or this insurance company, he's going to be slapping a sticker on the side of his truck and going out and competing with the good installers. So, separation. Um, I think that even retailers are going to realize in the next couple of years that labor is not a resource to be uh, or like an inconvenient cost to depress. It's going to be a resource to invest in. I believe that's going to be the change, and I already see it kind of happening. Uh, but I think that is the best way to put it. It's no longer a cost to suppress. Okay,
Right.
quit being
And
scared, retailers, about the labor, your labor making money. You know, it's no longer going to be a cost to suppress. It's going to be a resource to invest in, and it may be your most valuable resource. And you say that, I kind of going off here, but a lot of people say that on their websites, but they don't really mean it. They really just want to, you know, hoard the guys that they know are good, make keep them under their you know shadow, not let them ever be recognized or you know keep them suppressed, and so that nobody else will snag them, kind of thing. I just think that there's going to be an influx of the labor, and we have to do a really good job of making sure we're training, tracking, and giving credit, and that the guys that are good are able to prove that they're good, whether that's putting all your certifications on your card or stickers or, the VTI.
right.
I keep saying it is the easiest way to deal with it. But
We're talking, 10 years. And if you look back, I mean, it was just a little over 10 years, but coming out of the recession, it was kind of the same thing, right? We were looking at all the guys who were doing it, a lot of them dropped out, couldn't survive, right? And then the ones that did, once things started picking back up, we were having to deal with the same thing where it's like everyone is now a flooring installer, and then what are you going to do to separate yourself out of that pack? And it's just
Yeah,
going to
we
be the
already had a
same
taste
kind
of
of the
it.
same thing.
Yeah, we already had a taste of it. Because I remember back then, uh, every residential company in Wichita all of a sudden was doing commercial and bidding on work, and you know, just like people are going to go where the opportunity is at.
Rollins says he has no more room on his card for any more certifications.
Yeah,
You got to
I
flip it
think you're
over.
probably right
Start.
there, Roland.
Got to put them on your
Gonna
underwear
need
band,
two
bro.
cards.
Yeah, get two cards, get your certification card, and then hand them a business card with all
Tommy
your
two cards.
certifications well, I don't know. In 10 years, it's going to be different. If I look back 10 years, today's 2026, 2016, we were just starting really to adopt the on-screen takeoff. Uh, you know, just really starting to do all of these, um, take on CRMs and this kind of thing. The industry itself hasn't changed much, which scares me because eventually it changes. Some industries just get held back, and they hold themselves back. We've caused a lot of this ourselves as an industry, but and then all at once it happens, and that's a little scarier because it's harder to adapt to an all at once thing as opposed to gradually getting better. Man, I am getting whitewashed out. Sorry guys, I'm in my truck and the sun's starting to come out.
Pasty Paul.
Yeah, with this
You know
bright
what?
light.
You just made me think of something. 10 years ago till now, are we building the industry top heavy? Right? Are we top heavy right now, where we're focused? Obviously, was trying to make it easier in the office to get more competitive, more projects on the backlog versus become more efficient and better and more knowledgeable installers. Are we hitting a stride now where we're gonna kind of try to meet in the middle? And then is that in 10 years, is that gonna fill in?
I
You know,
think I think so, right? But I think it's people like us that are kind of pushing ourselves there, and then letting people under us, so to speak, right? That are installing right now. Like, hey guys, you need to learn as much as you can right now.
Yeah, there's a
got to
good
figure out a way to tell them.
possibility that, I mean, we certainly sell more flooring than can properly be installed,
Properly.
right? Yeah, I
I
was trying to
agree.
figure out how to say that correctly.
I
We
agree with
sell
that.
as an industry way more flooring than can properly be installed. Now, somehow it gets installed, but I don't know the current numbers, but in 22 or 23, the flooring failures were at $3.2 billion that year. So
It's a lot.
that's a lot. That's almost about 8% of 7% or so of the value of that flooring, of the whole flooring industry.
Right.
Mike comment on there.
I was gonna do Rometo's first right here. He said that even this year he's noticed a huge shift in the industry, and this is based on just residential because homeowners are asking questions that they've never asked before, bringing up
Hmm.
ANSI standards, right? And like I don't even think some installers know what these standards are. Waterproofing methods, expansion joints, product compatibility, installation techniques, and it's because of AI. They're plugging everything that they want to know into AI before they even start talking to anyone, so they have these questions in their back pocket.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing. That was brought up on another conversation I was in where the consumer, the purchaser, is more knowledgeable, not true knowledge, but they have more knowledge than or more information, I should say,
There you go.
than they've ever had. and they'll say, "Hey, I'm doing this XYZ flooring with this XYZ. What else should I be concerned with and ask the installer about?"
Well, it's just like so the information that the client has is like this is I learned a long time ago that if I show up to a car dealership with a letter that says I'm already pre-approved, I'm more apt to get what I want and not beat around the bush and call someone's bullshit when it's one of those salesmen. Um, right. And they're always happy to see that. It's an easy sale. If they have what I want, then it's easy. And I
Well,
think that's where the clients are.
what we're talking about is a little bit like the car business. When
Yeah.
Carfax came out, and I've compared the VTI as a Carfax for your installer, right?
Yeah.
Because the why do you get a Carfax? Why did it actually happen? Because the dealerships didn't want it to happen. Just like really the retailers, I'm telling you right now, our biggest opponent in this industry are retailers, like period. They don't want the VTI to succeed. And maybe that's a strong. They're worried about the VTI succeeding because they're worried about the installer getting the recognition or the getting
There we
in
go.
a position where they are
They
having.
don't need the retailer anymore, right?
They're Yeah, they're scared that they're not going
Yeah.
to be needed anymore, and that's real scarcity thinking. I think there's going to be more people wanting to come into showrooms, even if they're buying online. There, there's still people want to touch and feel stuff. That's why there's still, you know, uh, opportunities out there. You may have to change your business model and start offering to sell your products online as well. But the point is that the re, the retailers are starting to uh, understand. I think that labor is going to have to get better, and that homeowners are more knowledgeable and they're asking more questions than ever. They know more than ever because they got the information right at their fingertips. Um, I mean, it's and the ability for somebody to BS a customer is going away. You know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind
100%.
of what. So I'm gonna get to some of these comments. So Kenneth says, and this was talking about just the information being there, and then you not being able to just tell the homeowner things and stuff like that. I believe it's a self-inflicted money grabs for installers and inspectors. So because of how much knowledge is just out there now.
yeah, those days are almost over, right?
Yeah, those days are almost over. And then, going back to the retailers, it's, the I think Mike's comment here is just talking about you can't use their subs, basically saying just getting more people well known, right? And then, well, I want you to stay here with me, and that's kind of how it is right now.
Yeah.
Well,
You
it's
local
been
companies
said to
keep doing
me
that.
that
Somebody's
a
gonna
lot
switch
of
you out.
retailers package. How was it said? It was like dependency is being repackaged as loyalty. So they'll call it a loyal sub, but the sub doesn't have any opportunity to go elsewhere. And loyalty implies that you have uh, that there's competition. Your old lady's loyal or you're loyal. It doesn't matter if you're on an island in the middle of nowhere and you're the only two there. That's not loyalty, you know. Loyalty is that there's other options, but I'm loyal to you because you treat me right. You take care of me and I take care of you, and that's why you're loyal to me. And that's the relationship I think that dealers, us included, at my flooring company, as well as retailers, are gonna, they got to get good at taking care of and really having a good relationship with their installer base and
The
grow
best you
your
can.
installer base.
Yeah, and then he also like just about manufacturers in general, right? What the next product is going to be. You
3D
think,
printed floors, brother. 3D print. I'll 3D
I
print your
mean,
floor on site.
look at just what's been changing, these past few years. I mean, 10 years ago, we would have been talking probably about LVT everywhere, and now anytime someone is asking anything, they're going back to laminate. And then you look at sheet vinyl, and now it's going to non-PVC. It's like, what's going to be that next big thing in the next 10 years? And I even have heard that there's been a huge push for carpet. Like,
I mean, from the allergen standpoint and keeping your house temperature stuff, that kind of stuff, carpets made a little bit of a comeback. I heard. I'm not in residential world, so I don't know. I can't speak to that as fact, but I'm sure there's some guys on here that could say that better than you know attest to that. Yes or no,
Well,
better
the
than I could.
technology in the carpet has come a long way. Let's just say
But I
that,
do
right?
wonder what's going to be, because LVT once it hit like a, it kind of hit like a brick. I mean like through a glass window. It exploded once it got known because it was around for quite a while. But I'm sure you guys kind of remember the days when it was Amtico and Centtiva, and that was about it. And now everybody has an LVT. Hell, there's tile companies that got LVT. You know, like everyone has an LVT. So
That's it. We got to come be the first ones
what's the
that
next
have
LVT? I wonder.
what's it called? To have dimensionally stable 3D printed floors. Print your floor on
well,
site. What pattern do you
and
want? We got to be the first.
that's where, like, Kenneth right here is saying that Amazon is selling SPC, and based on the current lack of qualified everything, it's a race to the bottom, and it's just people won't survive. And yes and no, because it's the DIY push, because the technology and the AI explains it in a way where people think that they can just, oh, I can do that. I can watch this YouTube and do that. And that's where you start getting a lot of calls where people are like, yeah, I thought I could do it, but I can't. But that's
Well,
also where you get the calls where it's like, hey, I already have half of this done, so can you just come and finish for me?
Why am I going to pay you that much money when I can go ahead and do something I have no idea what the hell I'm doing by myself?
I just because the more people are selling a thing doesn't mean that the best won't still rise to the top. And the good a good retailer I think will be around for a long time as long as they're a good retailer and do a good job and take care of the customer and do so. What's a big piece of that? The biggest piece probably is making sure it's installed properly. Like that's the long term biggest piece of a flooring sale. And there's so much value in the guys that are out there, the guys and gals out there working and putting stuff in. You know, I I I still think that when things go wrong, people need somebody to go to, and that's where retailers being good problem solvers and good customer service are still going to be around because all those people buying off of Amazon or something like that, they get some guy to install it and it doesn't go right and they have nobody to call and like complain and get their problem solved. They that would be just what I would call a short-term trend if it ever takes off that way because people want to have somebody to call and say, "Hey man, my truck, I just bought it from you and it's doing this," or whatever. Like it's like buying brand new vehicles off of Facebook Marketplace or something from some random individual, you know?
Yeah, it's not always good. You're right. Well, that's where the in person thing comes in handy, right? You have an in person expert that you can talk to in real time, face to face, and
At
get
least with a good
feedback.
relationship with them, right?
Right, and get good feedback. Like who was I talking to? I said I really like to meet people face to face and have conversations with them face to face on certain things because their facial reactions and everything else tells a story that the emails and texts or a phone call can't tell. And I don't think I'm ever going to veer away from that. But I have better connections when, and I feel better about any project, whether installed, sold, or anything, when there is a face to face and a handshake, right? Like maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I just feel like the opportunities are greater that they're going to trust us to solve their flooring issues rather than on the phone and telling them what I know or telling them what we can do instead of showing them and shaking their hand and looking at the problem.
Well,
I just
until there's no environmental, like concerns, like, and flooring's made perfect and it can just come out of the back of a hot truck and be put into a house, and the floor doesn't need leveled because they've got some new system that the house has always got a perfect substrate and the concrete is always perfect, and you don't have to grind or level or do anything, and you don't need to worry about moisture because all these flooring products just solve all the problems, and all you got to do is blink and it installs perfectly.
Right. No prep
You're
needed.
going to have problems, is my point. You're still going to need experts and people who know how to solve problems, because just because you have information does not mean you're good at solving problems. You got to be a problem solver still. We already know
yep.
that. AI didn't just come yesterday. People's had the information, and before that it was YouTube and Google, and like, people had the information. Not everybody's able to problem solve and take care of a customer. This idea that the retailers and dealers are going to go out of business because Amazon is selling is horsepucky. Amazon, try to call Amazon and tell them your
Oh,
SPC
brother,
scoring failed. You know,
brother,
I
can't
don't
even call them to track your package. What are you talking about?
like, come on. I think there's always going to be a place for professionals in our business, or at least in the next 10 years. So, all right,
Now think
guys.
about
Well,
what
we
you
have
just said
talked
there.
to, like,
I
what's
got
that?
I got a couple comments from Instagram real quick.
Let's hit
Floor
them.
Pilot says a good install crew is so important. That's just a statement, not a question. And
I
then he
like it.
also just says that installers get the short end of the stick when it comes to getting what they need and things done right. But again, that's something that if you're keeping track of things with all this technology at your fingertips, it's you start asking questions before you even get these projects, so that way you have that information.
Well, and
And
I think
then
retailers are starting. They're starting to. That's starting to roost. I think
Jorge wants
it's
to know
Yeah.
if there's any tile guys here.
tile guys on here. Jorge's been like our tile
I
connector
know, right?
going to coverings. He's had a couple of really great podcasts. If you are a Spanish speaking native person and really want to consume the huddle
There we
in
go.
Spanish,
William
man,
Combs,
Jorge
tile
does
guy.
a great job running our the huddle for the Spanish speakers. Man, you ought to check that
Allegedly, I don't know what he says, but yeah, I believe you.
Yeah,
out.
so even Romero has a few certifications in the tile industry too, and uh, oh, so that's his partner holds him, and he's a project manager. He has 4 installers that have certifications, certification tests next month. That's awesome.
Great job.
Look, in the future,
And
if you're an installer that is very knowledgeable and you can help the sales team, whether you're working as an employee or sub for a store, you become invaluable. You are helping them become better at sales as well. So
and
just
then
that's food for thought for a 10-year goal if that's what you want to do.
Pilot also asks if we have a spreadsheet to confirm details before the bid, because he knows we say that we all do quite a bit of commercial, and I know I've seen Paul's spreadsheet, and then with us, our CRM kind of mimics that, where you can actually confirm all the details, pricing, color selections, stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
Yeah,
we are 10
we're over.
after, and I want to tell everybody thank you for the comments. This type of topic really needed those comments because we're just three guys that are giving our ideas, and love that you guys really got in there and participated today. Don't forget Pro Installer Magazine. Check them out. And Trade Tap, go check out the VTI. If you want to check out the Trade Tap website, it's just trade-tap.com. And we will catch you guys next week. Thank you guys